Good evening to all our participants. We'd like to welcome you once again from our Wheel of Thought program organized by the People's Code team. And today we'll be discussing under the topic of building unity and the success of the revolution. And I would also like to welcome our audience who are listening in on the various and watching us on the various platforms to share your comments and your ideas as well. It is important to acknowledge diversity, but the problem of Myanmar, the conflict that Myanmar is going through, is because of the military dictatorship. It is important to build unity and solidarity among the pro-democratic forces, among all those who are working together in this resistance as well. It is important to build a common ground among different political groups. That it is important to have political participation, inclusion, and to become a strong united voice or the united stand, so that we get recognition from the international community, and it will also in turn strengthen the revolution on the ground. This way, we'll be able to win this revolution quickly. So as a revolutionary government, it is also important for the NUG. The question is, how is NUG going to build the unity, as well as also for how the NUG is building unity among different mechanisms and the different that forces as well, and that also how will that the UNG will work together to achieve success as well, and that we also have there are also what are the opinions of the women who have been participating actively as well in that. What about the youth that youth from the Generation Z, that what do they from diversity to the unity building? How do they understand this? Unity building is important to achieve the success of the revolution. So this week on this Sunday, we'll be discussing together with the people, and we'll also like to request to people to share your comments or questions or that comments on their Facebook Live. You can also join us on Zoom and raise your hand, or you can also please type your comments or questions or anything and any point you want to discuss in the comments as well. So for today's discussion, we have invited that Wu Permanent Secretary of NUG Ministry of Defense, and we have also that head of training and the military equipment, Salai from Chilean Defense Force Mindat, and we have also have that Captain Wright and then Padonmar from from Burmese Women Union, and that Captain Wright, another CDM officer. Slide memo. He has to be mean that he to have access to internet. He have to travel to another place and to be able to join. He will also try to join us. He has to go through the difficulty. However, he is given the current situation, he still has that internet difficulty. So in some of the discussion while he was Mangom was discussing, if we cannot hear him properly or if he got connection cut off, then please understand that he is in a very difficult place, and he already has trouble day to just to get to there so that he can join in the discussion. I would like to start with Sia Naituang. Sia Naituang, good evening, Sia. Good evening. So thank you for joining us. So that I would like to start with you in this discussion. So very recently, our acting president, Duala Sheila of the National Unity Government, has instructed that it is important for the NUG to build a strong alliance, strong alliance forces that with a stronger solidarity and to continue emotionally. So, how do you understand this as a member of the NUG? And that my question is also, how will NUG will engage and cooperate with ethnic armed organizations as well as society organization for the implementation? Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this program. So I would like to say thank you to all the participants. Thank you very much indeed. So firstly, that so I would like to share that little that first of all, I would like to first go over what were the, what was Myanmar thinking while he committed the coup, because that what were his ideas in in running the coup. And one thing for clear is that Myanmar had given the reasons, that the reasons for the military coup is not legitimate, and it's unlawful, and these are not strong reasons. So this and everybody is well about it. I want to go into the details about them. One thing for sure is that he knows that there will be demonstrations, but he doesn't think that it will go as far as the revolution. But at the same time, that for the democratic people, that he also doesn't think the democratic forces will find some sort of will find solidarity, because they always use divide and rule, and divide and rule has been also a way they have addressed this issue. So often there also have been in the past challenges when it comes to solidarity, but he had miscalculated in the sense that when this with the resistance against the military coup, and then we have seen incredible unity, and that also have a different groups, different organization come together as well. When the president had just reminded us that we need to stay united, it's a very important point the president has made, because that it is important, and not just that it to not just to change the system. It's also important to build another system as well. That that in the politics, you have to be tolerant, you have to be understanding, you have to respect the others, because mutual understanding and respect is important. Your trust building is also important, but trust also building that takes time. You cannot go and start to say that we're building trust and there will be trust. No, that I think I would say that this trust building has make a lot of progress, but it needs to progress more. Like the president, I think president say that as well, that it is important for us to be to be tolerant, to be tolerant, as well as to have to have the attitude that for the ethnic minorities, that it is difficult for us to understand what are the grievances of the ethnic minorities. It's hard for when you are a Burma, or when you are a majority, that the history that we have learned, that's the history we have learned in school, does not represent the all the ethnic minorities, visibly or non visibly, that and this is a sort of Burmese centric kind of thinking, or the teaching education has always been in the system in Myanmar. So it is important to be able to feel and understand the feelings and the sentiments of the others. We still have to do a lot as well. Yeah, understanding, and just not just about understanding, just yes, okay, you can say that we understand the feelings of the others, but we also need to know as well that we have to be part of that as well. That it is important to have trust, to build trust as well. It is also important to be more of a to be look at the others as well. That when we say that, it's not just our opinion, like, oh, I'm doing all the good, I have a good intention, that there is I have my intentions are good, so I should go ahead and say no. It's more than that. It is important that to be of generous in mind, to be also to be magnanimous, to have a tolerance. All these are important. You need to think about how they see their revolution, how they analyze it, what are their differences, how do we learn from each other. I think these are all important, because the momentum of the revolution has increased dramatically. That what we are seeing is that we are also seeing very that important steps, important progress, as in we have Federal Democracy Charter giving us the principles for the building of the new federal union. It is not perfect, but it has given us important guideline as well. It also give us opportunity for us to discuss with each other, with the parents, that forbearance, and with the good attitude, as well as on the tolerance, then that will go further as well. It is also important for the energy to that you need to think about also, how do we build trust, how do we build unity. And it is also important to think about like what will be the situation of the country in the future. How can we work together, how do we collaborate? And that's what energy is looking, and energy is building this as well. So that we can say that our country definitely will practice federalism, and that is energy belief in the federalism, that also that and the self-determination of the ethnic ethnic communities. We believe in this. We believe in this. Well, yes, believing is not important. It is but the words that we say. We believe in this federalism, and we believe ethnic rights needs to be backed up by action. It is important to push forward so that we can have a stronger the implementation as well, and that it is also important to make the stronger commitments to make our beliefs to show that we have strong beliefs in the process, and that it is also important to prove that through the actions, actual action as well, and that these are all important for us because, as I have said before, revolution revolution is not like oh, the day has ended, there'll be more. No, it is not. It's like in agriculture. Let me give you an example of agriculture. If we sort of like clear the land, if we clear the land, and if you get rid of the wheat, then you need to grow something. You cannot let the land fallow, because then there will be more wheat coming up. So it is important to have a system. Okay, this system is not, we agree. We need to change the system, but what system is good and what system will be good for us? And this is something we need to discuss and together for it, because this why this revolution is important. It is important for us to be to respect each other, to understand each other, and to build a relationship, to build trust, so that we can do work pragmatically, and that and build alliance and trust, so that through the action, through the engagement, through collaboration, we build a unity. That's how I see it for the energy. Thank you for very comprehensive discussion. Thank you very much, Moderator. Yes, I agree that the success of the revolution is not just getting rid of the military. It is also important for all of us to be able to build a federal union that where we have all the communities of Myanmar enjoy equal rights. Thank you. That I would like to ask another question. In this armed revolution, there are local PDFs, and the PDF, we call it the People Defense Forces, and we give underground, that urban guerrillas, and there are many such organizations. They emerge because of the need of the revolution, but at the same time, to ensure the military operations are balanced, chain of command is also essential. So Energy Ministry of Defense is working hard to build chain of command. At the other hand, on the other hand, people are still saying that there need to be more guidance from the guidance, as well as on the better coverage of the chain of command. So what are the policies that Energy Ministry of Defense have established to be able to consolidate the hundreds of armed groups as well? What progress have you achieved? So what about what about engagement with the the other organizations which are not under energy chain of command, like the Burmese People Liberation Army? How do you engage to set a policy? Thank you for the questions. That and those who have the military experience, we know that you have military experience. You also can analyzing it as well. In a battle, in a war, chain of command is essential, and I agree as well. Without a chain of command, and most people say that it's impossible to win the battle or to win a war. So to build a strong military, it is also important to have a strong chain of command. It's one of the most important points for it. But building the chain of command, I'm sure you know, is not easy, because it's also difficult, especially when we want to integrate two forces. Then it is important to train them. It is also important to build it as well, because even with the time we take, the chain of command can be very difficult. But in this revolution, that revolution started, then we started building the military, so that, and this resistance started because of people took up the arms, whatever they have, to fight back against the military, to do the operation that they do. They train themselves. They were not trained into it. They raise funds, they equip themselves, and they pick up weapons to defend themselves as well. So this kind of that momentum has its advantages, and it also have its disadvantages, such as the chain of command. In demonstrations, and there were, I'm sure you have heard about it, every way. It's like they give an example of every wagon is also it has an engine. So that's it is important to move that as well. But at the same time, for the revolution, for the movement to maintain this momentum, it is important to chain of command. So MOD, Ministry of Defense, is responsible to build one as well. So I'd like to start talking with the PDF and other Ministry of Defense as well. So we call them the initially as PDF. Later, they call themselves the local PDF. These are localized. These are localized, and these are regional PDF as well. Either they call themselves as local defense forces or local PDF. Some of the groups were established. They established after engaging with the NUG. Some of them also received some of our training as well. Some no, they don't have any trainees or the engagement with us. They have their own plan and they have their own implementation. So these are groups, ACEs, and they have a different equipment level. Different equipment. They also have a different level of. Most of them act like a guerrilla warfare. They will fight and they will disappear. They usually use as a guerrillas that fight as guerrilla, but as a guerrilla, that they are quite effective and they work strongly as well. But from guerrilla, they try to start to control their territory, to try to establish their base camps, and if they want to capture towns and cities, then they don't have that power. They don't have that manpower. They can for them to be able to act as a force, then they don't have the necessary number of soldiers, so to speak. So that so we are trying to engage. First step, we are reaching out to the local defense forces, and then we also reach out to how they can join in. We also ask them their consent to form them as part of the underground, part of the guerrilla the PDF forces as well. And then through we have a district level the forces. And through we are also helping them through the chain of command, and we build it as well. But to be very open here, that there are a lot of challenges for us indeed. That challenges because chain of command is important. Command needs experience as well. So because we need those office commanders who have the ground, who have the battle experience to be able to have that, to be able to supervise them closely on the ground. That because it is important to have the ground experience as well. It is also important to explain also the role of the chain of command, how the chain of command work. We need the time as well. Some of the organizations focus more on equipment. They getting weapons, they getting the weapon as well, and that they focus on that. And some of them also say that well, we want weapons. If we only when we get weapons, we'll join your chain of command. It's hard as well. So we have to do both at the same time. Most people say that, well, just give us weapons, just equip with the military, with the weapons, and we can do that. A lot of people will to say is that if you say if everybody start fighting and we get weapons for tens of thousands of people, we can win the revolution. No, if you understand the military warfare, you understand that it is not just about the numbers. It's also important to have the strategy as well. So we try to share as much as possible to be able to have to establish a systematic chain of command. So this is something we're working on in different levels as well. That we also have communication challenges as well, difficulty as well. So it is also important to ensure that we can and bring them together effectively as well. So it is also important also to help them to work under the chain of command. It also be using different types of battle skills. We are also trying to equip them with skills on the next level. So these also take a certain amount of time that actually for an officer has been trained for years. We only have months to train our officer. We only have months to train soldier. We do as again because the military, the warfare or learning, the military training officer trainees take years to train them. We only have months to train them. So there are also limitations as well as on the challenges. We don't have the time for it as well, because revolution also is made in the momentum, and sometimes we cannot take the time issue. So we are trying to build as much as possible to build the best military that we can. We do what we can. There has been also progress as well. Before, local defense forces are spread out. Most of the local defense forces have become the part of the people defense force as well, and then they also become the guerrilla warfare as well. That what we have to do is they may not be. They are now starting to have structure. They are starting to work together. They are also learning training. They are also sharing their training. We are trying to strengthen them as well, but we still need to make more progress as well. And this is something we are giving this a priority to do that as well. The last point I would like to make is that there are also other organizations. We also have the EROs. So we are also building that with us as well. So we have at the very top, we have a central command, that a central command as well, that a C3C, we call it central command and control. We have the EAO, we also have from the Ministry of Defense as well. Then we have that can board do this. We have a different military commands, and then these commands will be sent out that the strategies to be able to for the implementation as well. We have different forces, but when you look at the commands, this control command is also do that as well. We have also have the not just a newly established organization. We also have the CDM as well. We also have there are also ERO, the EROs who are not in the security for various reasons. They are also working with them, engaging with them bilaterally to be able to ensure that they are also part of the chain of command as well. We are also working on that. Some of the forces are under the working with the ERO so that they can also go through the ERO command in that way as well. So according to the military operations, we also trying also to all these the forces to engage under the same command as well. That we do have a lot of new organization coming. It doesn't matter how many new organizations are coming in. We are also trying to ensure that they remain under a chain of command. So we have to inform them, we have to train them, and we also to engage working together with the ally as well. This is part of the chain of command building. There are some challenges, there are also difficulties, and there is also time is also short, but we do what we can within the limited time that we have. Thank you for a very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much indeed. Now, like people are saying that on the ground, that when we implement on the ground, it is difficult because you have many organizations coming in. They come from different places. They have different priorities. We do understand that it can be challenging as well. But for the revolution to be then it is important. Building the chain of command absolutely is necessary. So it is important to be able to, we have to try very hard to be able to get unity as well as establish a chain of command as soon as possible as well. So I would like to Salai Mangom has having some internet difficulty. So I would like to invite the next speaker. Now I'm like to invite Siama Subroma. So thank you for joining us. And I'm sure you have listened to Htoo talk about as well that and you have listened to the NUG Ministry of Defense as those who are leading the military warfare. He talked about about the opinion and the perspectives on the union on the solidarity as well. If you want to exchange what Htoo has shared, please take the floor and share your perspective as well. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. First, I would like to say that thank you for this opportunity to join in the discussion. And here I would like to say that, when we say unity, I think Htoo so talk about also the code that about the code of conduct and that so about the collaboration on the code of conduct and that it's also trying to strengthen the unity as well. And that also is good news for us because that really is encouraging. Here, when we say that, when we say unity, I would say it is based on three basic steps to do that as well. Firstly, that negotiation, that you can reach agreement, you can get agreement and participation through a dialogue and discussion, and that secondly, it is important to engage and collaborate as well, and then thirdly, it is also important to reach a consensus or that common agreement. When we say unity, it's usually through these three as well. So if we look at like discussing and negotiation and that to reach agreement is something like let's say that when we have two groups working together like this right now, that we are trying to build a new history like a federal union, and we are trying to build a new page in the history of Myanmar, that dialogue and that finding a solution together is extremely important. So through this, it is also important that we can build peace, and that through this through this discussion agreement, that we also need to find agreement as well, and that that rather than this organization do this force do that, and that rather than you do this and I do that, it is important to by integrating and by implementing together that also help us build unity as well. Another point is about the common agreement, and when we say common agreement, that this this we all agree that we have a common enemy, which is the military junta, but it is also important to have a common objective and common goal, and this kind of political agreement is also important. In addition to the having the common enemy, are we just going to there for the democracy? Are we going to go for like eradication of the military dictatorship? If we all for all the communities and that we want we want a federal union based on democracy. That's what people expect. At the same time, that they also want to eradicate all forms of dictatorship as well. So this unit that solidarity and unity building, I would say that it should be based on the three I said. These three points are very important, especially during the implementation. That and on the one hand, that when we have that in addition to this, it is also important to understand, and there's like people often have there is always also have the parties and the, oh, my party won the election, or that I'm from this group or I'm that group. No, we need to set aside all these that partisan ideology and try to build unity as well. That I come from a women organization, and that and I'm also been pushing for the women participation and that women rights. So as somebody who is working for the women rights and equal participation, when you say unity and solidarity, it is also important that when you do unity, then it is also important to take consideration about the patriarchy, and that try to change the patriarchal system, and as part of the unity building as well, because this that a patriarchal system is contribute to their dictatorship, to their ethnocentrism and racism. It also is feeding into the terrorism as well. So it is also important not only the democracy and that ending of the dictatorships, but it is also important to end patriarchy as well, because patriarchy and that patriarchy in a way support this as a system as well. Thank you. That may I thank you for your for the discussion. May I also ask you a follow-up question that because that in many countries around the world, like that that if we look at the other countries who have gone through the process as well, that it is important in areas with the civilian supremacy that is here, that we see that as the transition is successful. It is important. Civilian unity is also important. When you have a strong civilian unity, that can also give us a chance to be able to for example, to win over that regime or the authoritarian dictatorships as well. So that it is also so that means that it is also important to have a dialogue and participatory dialogue where people will listen to each other, discuss each other, for the to build this unity among the civilians as well. That to us as a society, as an organization, that in a country like Myanmar where the divide is very deep, and then how important is the civilian unity? Can you also add a little to this discussion how important the civilian unity is? Thank you for your question. In this revolution, in the Spring Revolution, that I would often say that we often say the Spring Revolution start from the people. That when we try to find a political solution, that I think that being able to change the political system is a progress as well, and it is also important because the change in political change in Myanmar came from the people. It is based on the people. So, like you say, the civilian participation, I think, is these are all important for it. But at the same time, if you look at the situation and the context of Myanmar in February, and the 1st of February 2021, the military coup happened. But even before the coup, there has been discrimination that we have to grown up in an environment where there is impunity, there is oppression, there is discrimination, especially that we have lived over 70 years under the military regime of the military. So that when it comes to thinking of the people don't have as much but not have knowledge about the unity or the sympathy or the understanding as well. That that's why it is important for us to first to be able to that to be able to get a just society where all the rights are recognized. It is important. That's why that women organizations and that many civil organizations working for the equal rights of the citizen even long before long before for the military coup, that most of the civilian organization or the civil society organization, we do public awareness, we do outreach to change the mindset of the people. When we do that, we usually do the advocacy and awareness raising through three forms. Firstly, we do public education. That's sort of like awareness raising. We do mobilization as well, and then we also collect data, information, and keep record about what is happening as well. What I'm saying is that that when we educate the people, it is also important for the people to be able to participate, to be able to have they should be able to speak up on the what the wrongs that they have suffered, the wrongs that they have seen, and they learn to speak up. They learn to get it is important to give space so that they can speak. It is also important that women and other minorities, when the minorities or other minorities, they have been the victims of violence for many years, and that the different forms of violence that they have suffered. It is important to record them so that we can also engage with others, engage with the other organization to establish truth and what has happened to these people, to seek them justice for them. So these are the things what we can do during the coup. Of course, as well as that organization, we use different weapons. When I say weapons, I don't mean bullets, I don't mean guns. Okay, the weapons are the issue. For example, I'm come from a women organization, so that we use that when it comes to that woman, that we use weapons of women right. That means that the issues that that are important for the women. So the same goes for the environmental the organization and the civil society as well. Through the engagement and that awareness raising of the civil society organization in the past 5 years, that they have been were able to get out of these framed like a limited the box of the democracy, that we are also seeing also this is been over a year that we are seeing that the people pushing hard for the real democracy, and that also this revolution is still going strong after over, although it has been over a year now. That's also because of the deep participation of the civil society organization along with other forces as well. Yes, it is important that this revolution, that those who are leading the revolution are the people, and people of Myanmar are very dutiful. They have been dutiful, and they are still carrying out their duty to support this movement. And people are committed. People are committed, and people will stay with us until our revolution is successful. So that it is also important in this revolution where we are trying to why do this that we can we it is that important to make to value the contribution and the commitment of the people. We cannot reverse, we cannot go back, because by going back to where we are from, going back to the stakeholders, we are betraying the people. It is important to listen to the voice of the people, to hear how committed people are to this revolution as a whole. Thank you, Siama, for your answer. I will invite next speaker. We have a Salai Mangom. Sia. Good evening, Sia. Can you hear us? Sia Salai. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, I can hear you. And thank you so much for joining us despite the internet difficulty. And thank you. And I would like to say thank you on behalf of the People's School as well. I hope you can hear me as well. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to join in the talk show as well. And I myself also get a chance to listen to the others discuss. So thank you very much. Yes, I would like to start with a question for you so about the Chinland Defense Force. Can you also talk about the objective of the Chin Defense Force, and that how are you also engaging with other as well? And that can you also share with us what is the military situation like on the ground? Thank you. So CDF, we have. I think it might also relate to the when it comes to the policy that also are concerned like all the CDF, not just Mindat. All the CDF-Mindat, CDF Kampala, we all share the same political objectives. What we want as political objective is a federal democracy. And that we want federal democracy, that we want that guarantees. We want a constitution that guarantees the federal democracy. That's what we expect to achieve. What we want federal democracy. So, but we also want to make sure that either the civilian dictator or the military dictator, not just military dictator, we don't also want uniform dictator. We don't want any dictators anymore. So what we want are the guarantees or the deterrence that no dictators will take control of the country ever again. So what we need is that so the CDF, what we're doing is it is important to have that we draft up the policy that indicate that how we can engage with the people, for the people who understand as well, and that so this is the Mindat situation. This is what we are working on Mindat. So on the other hand, Chin State, okay, in different parts of Chin State, like Calais or Gangor or Bibi, we engage with the PDFs that we also have a CJDCC. So we form CJDCC, and where we have that the plan is for all of us to work together. So we had a monthly, though we do we meet monthly, and we discuss, and we find solutions, and that's how we work together. All the different CDFs in different places. So we organize trainings, and that in the training schools. So we also teach not just the military warfare. We also teach what are human rights, what are the human rights standards. Another important thing is that we are also on the other hand, we are fighting against the military. That military acts like as the enemy. Military, the hunter, the military hunter. The policy against the enemy is to act like fire, and that the sun against as well. We do the same, but however, we don't target. We have to train, and we train our soldiers so that they will not target women or the vulnerable community. And we are resisting. We are in the revolution because we are fighting against the military hunter, and that the actions of the military hunter has been criticized by the people, and we don't act like them. We don't act in the way they do, and we also trying to make sure in our training that what is federal democracy and what are the important rules to follow, and how do we remain different from the SAC troops. That's what we focus on. In summary, what we want is federal democracy. We want human rights. We want full when a federal democracy, that government that protects the human rights that all the people are entitled to. We have a training school. We train our members of our forces in the training. We also train not just militarily, but also about the politics. What is federal democracy? What are human rights? And these are the important notions. We do that as well. So we have at the Chin state level, we have a CJDC. We are also engaged with the ethnic armed organizations from the EAO. So we learn from the EAO. They are our mentors. And then we also that is together, and that also to be able to. So we also learn about establishing the forces, about the fundraising. So these are the three parts. With the CJDC, we discuss, work together, and then we work together to as in collaborative engagement at the common level. Thank you, Salai Aung. So that you talk about that the CDF have a very clear political objective and the policy, and you also talk about the training, training as well, and that the NUG Ministry of Defense has always been has issue. You are also working to ensure the code of conduct or the code of the warriors, and to make sure and that while you are fighting against the military regime, it is also important that you don't act like the military, that you are fighting against as well, to ensure that to protect the civilian targets, to protect the vulnerable community, and that thank you for the training that you have given to your forces as well. These are also important the impressive principles for the and that knowledge and principles for the forces as well. And I would like to ask you a follow-up question that in Myanmar we have many organizations. In Chin State also you have a lot of organization as well. So among the PDF in that, like you have the CDF, you have different CDF in different area as well. But what about you also have other PDFs as well? So how
တီချောင်းအဖွဲ့တွေ
I
နဲ့
mean
ဘယ်လိုချိတ်ဆက်ဆောင်နေပါလဲ
have
အာဏာရှင်စနစ်ဆိုးကိုအမြင့်ပြတ်ဖယ်ရှားနိုင်ဖို့
common objective? How are you engaging with each other in your state as well? That how are you also engaging with the other institutions, including the NUG and other organization for the objective of eradication of the dictatorship and building of the federal democracy union? So how are you engaging with the other organization? How are you engaging with other stakeholders? Well, I think I will consider this as about this engagement and participation. I will answer thusly. We engage with the NUG. That we also have frequent meetings with the NUG as well, and the NUG also support us with the especially. We also have requested NUG to support us for equipment as well as for funding as well. That another important thing about with the relation with the EU is we approach the EU like KIO or the KNU and then AA and then the CNF. So we engage with them as well, and like TNLA that we also there are also some of the work we do with them as well, and but how shall I put it? But organizations, so I know, so that these organizations have different political objectives. We want federal democracy, and we do not support confederation or the secession, but some of the EAOs talk a lot about confederation. We know that as well. So these are the political ideologies with the EAOs. But to be very open here, that we are simple civilians who have never thought about armed resistance until the military coup happened. When the military removed the civilian government and start to oppress the people, assault people, target people, and commit violence. And we know how the previous military coup happened. State nations on it, a lot of families have been disrupted, a lot of people have to run away, we can have as refugees, and the families are separated, and all these. We don't want that to happen. That's why, as a people, we started to take up so I think one officer has just said before that we are new to the fight. We are new to resistance, so we need assistance. We need to learn from the EAOs about their military operations, about the battle skills and knowledge as well. We have to ask for them for their assistance in this. We also engage with the CNF to ask for assistance as well. CNF and CDF, we have the same political objective with the CNF. We want federal democracy. We need federal democracy system. We want to establish a system, and that's what we want. So in a way, we also share the same political objectives. For other PDF, let's say we have the closest we have is like Htoo. We have a Htoo PDF, we have SAW PDF, we have YDF. That regional defense force. We have Bakoku PDF and the Bakoku and Naing. We have a lot of these PDFs. We engage with we also engage with them to work together as well. Then we sometimes also help them find. We also help them by finding equipment as well. They also help us with what we need. We help each other. Here we have to be careful, because in this revolution that different forces sometimes we are also seeing that some of these revolutionary organizations are a bit jealous about each other, and that's something we have to be careful because whatever revolutionary organization it is, they need to be strong, they need to be well equipped, and that's why we do what we can to help each other. It is important that we help that, although that if we are not afraid of, or we should not be afraid of we are not afraid of another organization surpassing them. If you can support them with the weapons and ammunition, we help them. It is important to help them as such as well, and that for example, like fundraising or that engagement or getting connection. I think that's how these we know it is important for the revolutionary forces to help each other to keep them engaged and that then in the loop as well, because for the NUG that NUG will not be. I mean, that if NUG can, if one NUG can give a, have established a good command chain or command of all the PDFs, then this revolution will even become stronger, because in some of the areas, some of the PDF have a lot of weapons and equipment. However, in other area, however, that in other region, then they cannot find these equipments are very strong. So that if the PDF can engage with each other, if they engage in the PDF can help each other with the equipment and that what they need and what they have, then it will be great. We'll be able to, that will also make the PDFs more effective on the ground as well. Thank you, Sia Slaimao, for sharing that. Thank you for the update, and that I'm sure Sia Naitua also will be able to listen to what you also have shared as well. And that I think this is also a very good recommendation point for the NUG and Moody. So Sia Naitua also is joining us and listening. So thank you, Sia Slaimao, for sharing as well. May I invite another speaker? I would like to invite Captain Wright. Good evening. Good evening. Hi. So Captain Wright, since time is short, so I'd like to give you a question. So we have been going on with this talk show. So here I would like to ask about it from the about the looking at the people, when the people of Myanmar, that whenever we say democracy, that populist kind of the ideology is usually that are very popular, so that it is that even among those that who have won it as well, that we are so there has also been limited and the challenges as well. And when we say that that people often tend to support populist democracy, and that that also makes that the rights of the minorities often ignored and their voice and heard of. So even among those anti-military hunter forces, it is hard to build solidarity. Unity without recognition or respect is torture. So that's what the minorities say. So as a young generation and as a CDM soldier, what do you think? How do you see unity? Can you also share? Thank you. Thank you for the question. And that in the discussion that about the people of Myanmar, that so that when it comes to democracy in Myanmar and like in many other countries, is that it is true that that populist democracy often is successful. So in that sometimes in in this populist democracy where the majority votes win, that's often the voice of the voice of the minorities often left out, and that could become a problem when we try to mobilize, when we try to bring different minorities and majorities together as well. Based on the based on the communities, based on the groups, they have a different structure, their different system, that it is they have a different form as well, that either by providing funds or by the providing technical assistance or by the equipment, the support, even the support varies, and we have to be careful in providing this kind of support as well, because in some of the revolutionary forces that they have, like, some of them very good supplies. That some of the forces they can operate as well. And some of the groups, some of them are like a minority groups, minority groups, and that when it comes to weapon or the equipment or the funding, they receive very little support as well. So that and that is not when we have such a differences in the support, then when it comes to solidarity, that there could become a problem. And that's what I like to share. That as in the question as well, like unity without recognition or respect respect is torture, and it is right. It is true, because that we have to be careful as well, because unity is, it is important to have respect and recognition, because if you don't, if you push hard on unity without really recognizing the certain groups or the entities, or if you don't respect them, then it is oppressive. It is something that if you if, that they be, that those minorities whose voice are not heard of, will recognize, who is not respected, they will have feelings, and they will also feel that these perspectives as well. When it comes to unity and solidarity, we are now in the revolution period. It is important. We know that we are seeing also efforts to build unity as well. So when are we united? We are united now because we have the common enemy. So it is important that we need to build up our unity even stronger. When we fight against our enemy, that our unity forces can be weak, it is also important to that bring them together as well. Another point is also that it is also important for us to build together. It is when we have a good leadership, also we can also see that unity is strong. We also need good leadership. We also need recognition and respect. And these are the points. If we look at analyze these points I've shared, so we have the common enemy of the fascist military regime. That's our common enemy. We are all fighting against this common enemy. Then we can, having the same commonality, we need to be united to fight against our common enemy as well. The fascist army, which is our common enemy, they have built their organization institution for the past 70 years. Compared to our revolutionary forces, they have funding, they have the funding, they have the military equipment, they have the military might. But that while we are building unity, that we don't have the when we don't have enough, we need funds, and we need the equipment that can also create like wrong impression against between one organization and other. It is also important for the authorities to take this into consideration, deal with as well. It is also important to make sure there are steps taken to build trust among the community. Is some of the we've seen that it is going well in some of the areas in this kind of unity building, that in some area we are also seeing a lot of things missing as well, that the goal of our revolutionary forces are the same. We want equality, we want freedom, we also want that to recognize that we also, all of us, want development for Myanmar, and that's why we are all together. And it is important that for us to be able to meet these contests, we need have to have all we want, that we need to have a genuine federal democracy. And this is something all the groups agreed as a common objective in this revolution, in Myanmar revolution, in that the leadership also, that we see the leadership also has make necessary has reform as well, that making necessary change as well, and that for the legislative as well as on the public representation, we have during this we already have an interim the NUG government with the elected representatives, the other stakeholder as well. So if we can work together, we already have a government, we have a legislature, and then we also have the we also have the MOU. If we can build unity, then we can eradicate their military dictatorship in the very near future. Like Htoo has said before, that we have many challenges in building as well, but the chain of command can be difficult, but it is something we must do. Unity is hard, but it is important to do. So it is important to build the chain of command. That it is important to ensure that there is a smooth flow of chain of command. Only then that through the chain of command we can bring also we can also bring unity as well. If there are no defense forces are going in different directions, then without unity, then it will be harder for us to win this revolution as well. That it is also important to listen to their voice, to their recommendations. It is also important for that that authorities also give them feedback and that guidance, so that what kind of structure will be more useful. Look at them and also look at the structure of the organization to ensure that the organization are strong and performing. Because when so what we what we give us as recommendation is that the way the fascist army structure is very clear. They started from a small unit. From the unit, as you have the small unit, and you have like a small squad, and then goes to the unit and the squad room, and then you have us like then to the regiment. Then you also have the strategic command, and you have the military operation command, and so there are also, and then it goes into levels. So that it is also important to have a revolutionary force, to have a good, very structured, good system. Then it will also help with the recognition as well. And that's the first point I would like to make. I think it is for that to happen. It is so important for us to try very hard as well. In doing so, that among us, I think also important to have to understand each other, to talk with each other, to be able to try to respect and recognize each other, and be start the democracy by engaging and by dialoguing with the different by dialoguing with each other among the different armed organizations. Thank you for sharing that. As so I think also the NUG PDF NUG MOD is also working very hard to bring the different together, so that it that also is important. So thank you also for sharing that. Also these are also important points, so thank you very much indeed. So can I also ask, I would like to also ask you a next question, a follow-up question. So that so a lot of people also are frustrated by by the dispute and the controversy between different revolutionary forces, and that people think it's good to have order. So that I would like to ask you, like, what kind of that? Why is it that contentious and controversial democracies are more progressive and secure than the quiescent, that authoritarian states as well? I think that having this kind of we cannot be frustrated. We cannot be frustrated about this controversy or the debates, but we need to be able to understand that if there is order, the order and the quiet and the questions, it's not just doesn't mean that people have to be able to be criticized. People have to be able to think and say that, well, I don't agree, and that this is not what I think it is. And people should have a right to also to share their opinion as well. Let's say in a family, if the children do not have that freedom to think, that sometimes some of the parents, like even inside the family, we also often see that parents often don't think highly about their children. That they will say that, well, you are my children, you have to do, or you have to follow my orders. That they often say like that, and that is wrong, because when the parents say like that, I'm the parent, and that you don't say anything. It's like blocking it. So I'm just giving you an example of that of a family. In the same way, when we built the nation, and think that there are those. I mean, I don't like. I think it's important that that the country is calm and there is no debate and there is no different opinion. No, that's the dictatorship, because people are afraid to speak up. We want democracy. We want federalism. It is important to acknowledge and accept and recognize plurality and diversity, and it is important to have the floor where people will be able to say clearly and say that, okay, what we do as well, that it is important to listen to the different voice of the different communities. Then through the different ideas, different concepts, then we'll be able to establish that that what is right, or what is the best for the country. I think it is important to accept that diversity and differences, by that it is that important that don't not go back trying to find the best way to be able to recognize the best possible what I can. So for me, I think it's important for people to share different opinions, then through the discussion, and find what will be the best way for working. That yes, that I think it is important to recognize that as well, that through the debate and the controversial and different opinions, and to be able to, through the negotiation and discussion, and that to be able to also to find that is what is right as well. Thank you for sharing and the discussion. Now, I would like to also go back to the talk show, and then some of the people I'm sure have comments and questions for the question for our speaker. So you can, if you're in the Zoom, you can raise your hand, or you can also drop your questions or comments in the comment box of in the comment section of the Facebook as well. Now we'll be moving into the second part of the that our talk show. So I would like to once again invite us here into our. Yeah, we are also hear a lot that like country that US and that major countries, they are quite hesitant. They are hesitant to provide and European countries and US they don't want to provide pragmatic support as well. They think that they are kind of hesitant because we don't NUG has not they think that NUG has not been able to build strong unity involving most of the democratic forces, or that NUG has not been able to integrate the majority of the ethnic groups, ethnic and the different revolutionary forces and the unique chain of command, and that there seems to also be issues of accountability to prevent the crimes committed by the groups as well. So that's why a lot of people say that the Western countries are quite hesitant to provide assistance as well. Thank you. Thank you for your point. And I'd like to respond by discussing by that as well. That when we say that some of the the superpowers or the important countries, I think that yes, there people also say that there are some reaction as to that as well, that they feel that they feel that as well, that they're missing, and that energy has not been able to bring in all stakeholders or the but in this revolution, in the current context, that it is also difficult to build the chain of command. But it's not like we don't have a chain of command. The chain of command also is getting stronger as well. That in reality on the ground, also, even when we don't have commanders commanding on the ground, we have the look we the that that we were able that we also did our best to be able to for them to add like a chain of command, that that going under the chain of command is something. If you ask all the that if you ask all of them, they understand that it is chain of command is needed, like I think if you look at the revolution, that all of them are working on the goal of the chain of command, that they all of them intend to able to go to the chain of command as well. There will be like there may be like one or two who might also feed debate, but they all agree that they all need that chain of command is important and chain of command is necessary. They do have that as well. And then all those who have experience in revolution and movement, that they also know that there need to be a chain of command. And that so that in addition even before that we had like no, even from the ERO, who has been existing for a lot of time, the ERO have discovered, like we had discovered, like C3C, it is important that these are the progress that we have made as well. These progress that, we also need to think about how we can move forward with the progress we have made is also part about finding solution as well. And that, in addition, for the code of conduct, when it comes to the code of conduct or the military rules and regulations is important. When it comes to it is also important to have the policy that all of us must be responsible for it and take responsibility for it as well. And it is also part of the that is regulations as well. That when you say guidelines or for the revolution, we already have a discussion and that as well. That for the organizations. That if you're that we are also engaging in the revolution. They're also engaging with the NUCC. So our objective is that this revolution is not just about it. It's not just what it will end after this. The military and we remove the military dictatorship. So no, we are looking into a longer time period as well. That we are trying to build on as well. That we are trying to bring just again to the as well. This progress. It is important to have the recognition of the progress as well, and that this progress we also need a support as well. That if we that if we do this revolution, but without really, getting rid of China comment, it also needs support. It also support her to be able to get for us to reach our goal as well. Whether we get assistance or not, we will continue to move forward as well. That it is. If they all help us, if they all help, if the other countries provide assistance, then I think that means that less for the challenge for the people as well. That that people will suffer less. That's important. That's what if they want to really help, then that if you're looking at how the people of Myanmar are suffering, then that this revolution is necessary. That the goal of the military is very clear. That military has been they will kill the people. They would remain dominant. They will maintain their military dominancy, and that they would use superficial peace, and that they would they will call it like a call for peace, but in reality they don't care. They just doing it on the well. Like it has been for many decades, and that we have seen that as well. It is also important for the international community to understand how the people are suffering. Social science, that is social science is very important subject. It's like a safe science subject, like a natural science. It's like because social science is not like chemistry or physics. You cannot just heat until like the temperature is reached and then look at the color change or what happens. Different country has different contexts. This country, in this country, this happened like that. So you cannot copy and paste it. You cannot have a formula when it comes to social science, because all these, when you look at these researchers and that, it is also important because, what the history, what we have is the past. Yes, it's important to learn that, but it is what we have learned cannot be as a theory, because we don't cannot have the kind of every country is a unique situation. So that we are seeing that the progress that we have never seen before, there are progress already. So it is important to think to change the way that we think as well. That's important. Secondly, that sometimes when we think about it, sometimes we are also thinking in different ways. When we say chain of command, and that other that rather than thinking like, well, that we are not helping them until they are good, then we have to think about, look at it from other perspective, that maybe they are not good because they are not getting any support as well. To build the chain of command, we need their logistics, we need food and supplies. So these are also quite related to other points as well. This revolution is that so not that also that the US that if you look at it, that for the military of a nation, is that the course where there's not even 1% of as well, the no percent of a nation as well. Now that this is a $40 million is that so that's the amount that we're using. I mean that with that limit we are able to build such forces that with the support of the others we could also go better as well. But in brief, in short, I can say the people of Myanmar are very determined. If we understand better, if we try to that bring in help, then that will also bring as well. If they really are genuine and they are care about the people of Myanmar, they really want to help the people of Myanmar, it is also important to give assistance to the people of Myanmar, because people of that the international community also has responsibility to support the people of Myanmar as well. That thank you for sharing that. So it is also important that the assistant is important for the people of Myanmar as well, and that that with more support there could also be a more better result as well. So thank you for your point that you already have make it help very clear as well that that it is US or the other European governments, and they have and that they have a policy, and that in one of the articles they highlighted that referred to the NUG has that that they say that there are limitations on the NUG accountability mechanism that comes from one of the reports as well. That so that between they could also be guessed between the that NUG and the Moody, but you are all building for something that you have also highlighted that there may be challenges, but you're also moving forward as well. That I think it is I think it is also, if you can engage with them, with the, the highlighting the progress that the NUG has achieved as well, I think you will be also able to counter the worry of these these countries. I think we'll also be able to convince them and also overcome also the different opinion. And that will also help us also achieve the goal. So thank you for your participation and the discussion as well. I would like to invite Salai. Salai, back to you. Salai, can you hear us? Salai, can you hear us? Yes, I can hear you. Great. Thank you. Thank you for joining us despite the challenges. I just have a quick question for you, sir. Are you okay to discuss? Yes. And so I would like to start with a question. So I would like to ask you is that during the revolution, and that it is important to develop that interim constitution as soon as possible to build the civilian political forces and to reach a political common agreement for during the revolution and beyond the revolution, so that there are also, although NUCC is leading in this unity of the different of the pro-democratic forces and the policy leadership, and NUCC is encountering delays, although NUG also implemented them, but NUG also encountering delay. So as an ethnic revolutionary organization, how do you see the situation? So NUG, NUCC is so we understand the NUCC said they are working on it, that as soon as possible, they are working on this building of the federal of the constitution. But we don't want revolution period to drag on, because if the revolution takes longer, then there will be more casualties on both sides, because rebuilding the nation, rebuilding the country, well, that's a lot on there, because that means that also means that the country has to take a lot of loss as well. That, to be very frank here, there a lot of there are a lot of people have left Myanmar. They have left for the safety of the other country as well. Some of the forces, some of the members of the PDF and the CDF, because of to support their family, they can no longer, they will have to quit the revolution, for those to help their family survive as well. So it is important for this revolution to be short, and get the result as well. For that, most important is federal charter. We already have a federal charter, even before that. Since 1988, we have. There are also drafts about the constitution, the previous draft that has been developed in the past, so that NUG, NUCC, if they are, how shall I put it, if they are really, that if you really want to engage with the ethnic organizations, or to engage with the CDF, PDF, and the federal charter, I think it is important that to build a federal union that we want to see, that what kind of constitution will be the law of the land to govern Myanmar. I think NUG need to disclose disclose it clearly to the people. Only then that will also help us bring trust to the NUG as well. One thing for certain is that for ethnic organizations, or for the ethnic youth as well, that looking from the ethnic perspective, well, there are a lot of lessons learned. There has been a lot of lessons. So trust is an issue. That trust is an issue when you trusted them once, and then then you retrusted them again, and then it's not going well. So I think we need to learn from the past as well, because it is taking longer than it should. That this taking definitely taking longer than it should. So the NUCC in the structure, maybe is it because of the NUCC, you do not have the NUCC composition doesn't have all the people that it needs to have, or because although we claim to federal democracy before the revolution, and then once they started, then maybe is it because they want to go under a like unitary state, or they want to go under the the dominance of the one ethnic group? Is that why? Is it causing? And it's really, there are no such agenda, and that everything is above board and clear for the federal democracy, then if they are genuine in seeking democracy, I think it is also important to be work together as well, that and that so that it is also that to different organization also have they also have objectives for their federalism as well. I think it is important to give priority on that, because it's important, and that NUG is the, how shall I say, NUG is this, that is the main, NUG is the key to all the ethnic organizations. So NUG needs to be clear, NUG, and we want NUG also to work clearly, and also to be also to disclose, share the information, and do outreach as well, so that at the revolutionary fight, those revolutionary fighters who are sacrificing their lives, and we feel secure, we feel safe and secure. What are we fighting for? We need to know what we are fighting for. We need to have a clear idea of what we are fighting for. I think I would just like to say that we need to go quicker with the drafting of the constitution process. If we waiting for all the stakeholders to be there, or is it because of the any other political plan or something? Is it because of they have other political agendas? I don't know. We all of us have suspicion, so that it is important to meet with the EAOs, and then to work together with the EAOs to be able to get the federal democracy charter as soon as possible. I think that's important. There are already principles. There are already have a previous the iterations of the constitution that has been drafted before. Then we can use that. Then that will also help as well. Thank you for Salai, and also you also talk about the importance, also about about that about the importance of the important perspectives of the ethnic organization, and the voices you have shared. I'm sure that will be heard by the NUG, as well as on the NUCC, and the CNI who also were here, also is also listening from the Ministry of Defense as well. I'm sure that your message will be carried forward to that as well, and that we are now at the end of that term, that talk about the talk as well. So there are a lot of questions going towards the MOD. So I would like to give Sienna to start responding to the questions. So I would like to first give you the first question. So it's in the comment box as well, and that that recently we have been listening to the to the interview of the Bonaga, or the Captain Naga from it as well, so that it also in a way highlight that the participation of the military commanders on the ground, as well as on the weaknesses witnessed with the NUG MOD in the terms of communication as well. So does the C3C channel command is effective with the changes that are happening right now? What about the asymmetry warfare? Will it need to be we have to accept the local leadership, and then give that recommend? Second is that if the position of the Ministry of Defense is given to a EAO who have experience in the military warfare, they are would that really help also the would it really make the channel command and mechanism more effective? So if this possible, we like to know about as well. thank you to the, first of all, thank you to the those who are asking us the questions, because sometimes when we explain this also, I think it is, these are also important, that when we also know that when we explain them, then also be understood by the people as well. So these two questions are related. Also, I would like to see that as well. That question is about the position of the about the Ministry of Defense. So I would like to second from the second question that you know, so that there are differences between that of the Commander-in-Chief and the Commander-in-Chief and the Ministry of Defense. Minister of Defense is a civilian oversight. It's especially for the policies. It's a critical thinking, it's policy making and making major decisions based on that as well. And that's what they have to do. But however, like we were saying before, like building a forces is like it's about the in the beginning, the Ministry of Defense, and we also, in addition to our policy, we also have to struggle for the building of the building of the military forces as well. That if you believe in democracy, you also have to believe in the civilian supremacy as well, and that we don't need the president should have a military experience. No, then it is also because we also had to be aware that the civilians can also be in charge of the defense as well. That it is not discouraged. But during the revolution period, yes, military experience is important. It is needed for the administration. Like Kasia now has said before, that that we also have a lot of we also have the C3C, other people who have many years of experience as well. So they have a military experience. They are part of it. They are part of the chain of command. They are part of it as well. Second, I think is also is related as well. With the first comment on the C3C. They say the C3C that we in the CDC we have the top leadership from the as well, that they have many experience and ERO, and they are leading the movement as well. So that in the CEC, so that that the C3C set policies as well as make decisions important. We have that we are consulting with those who have been strong experience. So we in our ministry we also have the strategists. We also get advice from those who have on the ground as well. And as for the ground command, when we give a sign as well, that those who are given the duties and the signs on the ground, that we ensure that that we also have we give the responsibility to those from the ERO who have experience with the ground command as well. So when it comes to the military affairs, we give them the duty to those who have the experience as well, and that so we are also making sure that there is the proper as well. We are also discussing as well, to make sure that the chain of command is correspond to the is as well, that's how we discuss and listen to the comments, and we do that each other. So we also have the C3. It's also about it communication as well. So we have challenges under communication. It is true, we have challenges communication, because not everyone have these as well, that we don't have a communication. Since they are not all of them are under the unique chain of command. They have different to engage with us. So communication is weak. Yes, so to build also we are doing different ways. We are exploring. We have to seek different ways to improve the communication, because now we have to rely also on the internet as well. It also depends on the ground commander as well, because that when the military issues come to the as well, but the ministry only is a part of the administrative logistic ministry as well. So then the other decision depends on the military strategies as well. There's sometimes we try to reply as much as soon as possible, but that the military decisions, operational decisions are made by their ground commander. That sometimes you hear that some of those who want to directly link with the ministry or with the ground commanders, we have to inform that it is important to respect the importance of chain of command. The chain of command, according to the chain of command, the military and operational decisions are made by the ground commanders, or the military commanders, not by the ministry. And we are building a command that is that reflects the actuality, that reflects on the ground situation as well as on the region. If not, then that that if we are going to run the entire country as a whole, that it will be hard to that. But there are also there are also different strategies. There are also parallels are going on, but and it's also important to ensure that we can also work on the ground and reflect the ground situation as they are as well. So there are also other questions quite similar to what you have answered as well, and that also is that so that they also talk that some of the points are made about is that that emoji is not very responsive, and that wouldn't be, so the questions are quite similar, so that that people also do that there should be more of a communication, more of a, so that they sometimes they say that if you get, I think it is important to respond to the people to do the outreach, because people seem to not do not understand the way that the MOD is working or not. And I would like to say that it is also important to ensure the MOD has a mechanism to listen to the voice of the local PDF and the PDF, and also to some of the information that are not too sensitive to release to the public, so that people will know what is happening on the work the MOD is doing as well. So these are the points that these are the what I would like to suggest based on the what I have the comments here. Most of the questions are for you, and that even before you before I give you another round to answer, I would like to ask you, Siamazu, I would like to ask you one question. I will put these two questions together. That the point is that if NUG continues with the Federal Democracy Charter, then without drafting a Federal Democracy Constitution that guarantees ethnic communities, then there won't be a full participation of the ethnic groups, and that so the revolution also will be hard to reach. That's the first question. Second question is we shouldn't stop at the federalism. It is also important to promote and then to change the culture of governments, the cultural education, so that to be able to get on the right track. Onto these questions, can you give us a short answer on the how do you see what will be your response to these two questions? Thank you.
ပထမဦးဆုံးအနေနဲ့ပေါ့နော်ကျမတို့ဒီအာဏာ
Firstly,
သိမ်းတဲ့ကာလကိုတစ်ချက်လေးပြန်သွားကြည့်
I
မယ်
think
ဆို
it is
ရင်
also important to look back on the where the the military coup happened. Especially this topic is about the building solidarity and building unity, and that the fact that we need to build unity is not new to the revolution. For the past 70 years, when we have lived under the military dictatorship for many years, we know it is important for that there should be unity. There should be unity among the youth. There should be unity among women. We often say that it has something. It is not new at all to this revolution. When the military coup started on the 1st of February, and that we all agree that we must all of us is a desire to fight against the military dictatorship, to establish the civilian government, and that we another point we have also is that and that we talk about unity building. It is important to build the unity. We say it for many years. We say many days. What we have is like a 20th century, then 21st. We have like a 21st century panel. We also talk about the support as well. That about building unity, the unity building. It doesn't matter, how often we say about it, but unity building has never been successful in Myanmar. So the abolishment of the 2008 constitution, to eradication of military forms of dictatorship, including military dictatorship, for the establishment of and the establishment of of a democratic nation. These are the cause that has pushed many people along with the youth into the street to demonstrate for. The coup is not good. The coup does not bring us anything good, but there is a silver lining, so to speak. They give us opportunity to build the unity, to build agreement with the ethnic communities, and that's why a lot of people have demonstrated in the street. A lot of people have joined the demonstration. A lot of people have been part of the revolution. They support the revolution. That's in a way that's the silver lining out of this crisis as well. when we say that we need to build a federal democracy, the union, federal democracy union based on federalism, what we want to build that, and that's what the ethnic the organization has said, that it is important there should be a clear division of competencies between the union and the federal units, and there will be concurrent powers as well as inclusive powers. These powers should be divided, clearly and specifically in the constitution. The division of competencies must be clear between the union and the federal units as well. Like if you look at 2008 constitution, that if you look at governance and that legislative, it looks a bit like federalism, but in reality that we don't have a local justice system. Everything is controlled by this union, and that's why for us federal constitution is important, and federal, actually for federal democracy union, constitution is important. That's why people are pushing hard for it as well. But in this revolution, when we look at it, that NUCC through the people's that through this we have through the people's assembly, we have the federal democracy charter as well. If you look at the foundation of the NUCC, like I had said before, in the past that we didn't have that is to build we talk about quality leadership, we talk about the building. There are 5 pillars. We have the EAOs, women and youth organizations, as well as on the parliamentarian and the CRPH and the NUG, as well as and the political parties. All of this work together to have a quality leadership in the development of the federal democracy charter. That after the coup also, we have officially announced that abolishment of the 2008 constitution, and now we have the federal democracy charter as a governing document. That it is not as comprehensive as a constitution, but we are in the revolution. We also have to transition to the interim period as well, so that it is important that especially like humanitarian needs need to be taken into consideration. So we need to have some mechanism that we have some measure, some mechanism for that as well. In my personal opinion, I think for the revolutionary period, it might not be comprehensive, but for the revolutionary period, that's enough. We have a federal democracy charter giving us a guidance and principle. That's enough, and that the development of a federal democracy constitution is important. But the process of drafting the constitution is important. So NUCC, I also hear that NUCC is working on the drafting of the constitution as well. It is important to be public participation is important. With the communications limited, the security is limited to be able, then we cannot be able to get the voice of all the people. In that case, then if we were to develop a constitution, at that time, and then without much public consultation, then it will be a one-sided constitution and without any representation as well. We do have that temporary measures which are enshrined in the federal democracy charter. It also have a give us basic principle like revenue sharing, about the fiscal federalism, or like division of competency. I think it is it already is stated clearly as well. Like if you look at the situation of the Ukraine, you have the KNCC they are also developing like interim in the interim state constitution. Like I said before, like it might not be as comprehensive as a full-fledged the constitution, but that's enough for these are the measures sufficient enough for to be able to govern and to be able to run, and that's different systems during this revolution. So another that point I would like to say, if I have forgotten your question, also please let me know. That I think another important point is that in addition, that it is important to go beyond the federalism to think about the cultural education as well, and that it is important we need to build a union based on the federal democracy. But some of the people say that federal democracies are the opposites of the two, opposite of the one. They say if you say federalism, there will also be democracy, and that when we talk about democracy, we talk about the individual rights. We also talk about the protection of the minorities and that individual rights as well. That it is also important to protect and promote the identity and characteristic identity of the ethnic groups. That's all part of the democracy as well. So building the federalism, and these will come together, I would say, because these are the basic cornerstones of the federalism as well. Thank you, Siama. Thank you. That to summarize what we have shared before, so I think it is important that all the including energy government and that all the ethnic organization will need to recognize and that respond to the voice of the people. I think it is also important for the people of Myanmar to be patient and to work together with our government, and that will really help us bring closer to the success of the revolution. So we also have so before I call on that those who have raised our hands, I would like to read a comment as well that so NUG and other, that it is also important for the NUG and that the other needs to listen to the voice of the people. It is also important to important to promote solidarity. It is also important to give space to the by merit as well. And that I think another question is for Go 920 as well. That so the to the MOD Go 920 that about it. So we have watched the interview of the interview of Bonaga. So that so I think it's the same question as well. That I think we have already, Siago 920 has already answered about this engagement and communication with as well. So I think that if you had listened to the first part, I think that has already been answered as well. That I would like to now invite those who have raised their hand. Gomin, can you hear us? Yes, I can hear you. Gomin, you have the floor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask a question. My question is that so I'm also a soldier in the I'm also a Burma from the Greece. So that Unang Tuao has said that we are now going with the federal democracy charter, but the charter is not enough. The charter is not enough, but that is sufficient for it as well. We go into the interim constitution. Will it be based on the federal democracy charter? If it is, will be based on the federal charter. That the charter 2 is something that charter 2 is accepted by all the ethnic groups, because in the charter 2 that the federal is a CRPH in other words is most of the majority of the NLD as well, and that it is that the wouldn't it be better for it is not just NUCC, if we were to develop the constitution at the people assembly, would be better. So why we locals are not under the chain of command? Because we don't, it is not about the equipment as well, that because we don't have a interim constitution. Now without the interim constitution, we don't have a political leadership as there is it's not binding, and that's why we don't want to go under the chain of command as well. That another point is about the ERO can be that as well. So we had engaged with the NUG before, and those who give us command, I mean, we don't know who the commander is, and that it was a civilian who has given us a command. They don't have any experience, they don't know, and when they give us command, and those when we are on the ground, and then we are not. It's like we are not as important as well. Are the commanders now in the right place as well? The between the PDF and the local defense forces, if there is something happen, are there courts, are there the justice system as well, like for example like Shan and Mo and the Wa, that they are they also how are they participating in this revolution? What is their dialogue with the NUC with this as well on that well, I think NUCC have the 5 pillars, but I think it is also important that local PDA, the voice of the local PDA is not covered as well. You have the PBA like Bunaga MRT. I think it is important to have the voice of the PDF as well. With the voice of the PDL, and wouldn't it be better for the NUCC as well? Thank you. Thank you, Gominkan, for the very good question. So, Siakunai Tuao, you have the floor, yeah. Thank you. some of the points are more related to the NUCC, and I'm not a spokesperson for the NUCC, so I think you'll be able to ask question, and that I won't be able to answer certain questions about the NUCC. So please bear with me. So to the first question on that, the structure of the NUCC, and that NUCC to ensure the quality decision making for the revolution and the beyond the revolution as well. And the CRPH is a parliamentary representative committee, so that's why that as a parliament, they are the legislative, they will enact the law. So there will be a federal parliament in the future in the constitution. So these are the points we have to work on. So that for this year, that's what CRPH work on. But when we discuss about it, that when we talk about the objective of the law, and these are also the discussions that are going on at the NUCC as well. So that's what we like to share about the lawmaking that that uh, that that so did and CRPH is a legislative, so they are there to do this well. It's not just a CRPH. What we also want to make sure that there is also engagement when it comes to lawmaking, especially for the interim constitution or the transition, or that after the revolution there will also be that will be it is not something that can be the constitution can be developed by CRPH alone or NUCC alone. It will have to have a broader public participation to do that as well. That for the for the federal charter, it is also important to build it as well. That we need to use this as the example of his participation of is also important as well. That for the NUCC who to participate in that, it will be the decision of the NUCC as well, and that so that this is not that it will be about who to represent begin a part of the NUCC pillars. It will be the decision on NUCC. As to the chain of command, yes, that in the beginning we don't have experienced ERO people on the ground to as a commander, so that when it comes to there was a VCOM, there was a VCOM in the command VCOM as well, and that's why we tried as much as we can to be there. So we haven't been able to get all the districts to get the experienced EROs to become ground commander, as well, because it is important to be that to get the chain of command as well. We know that it is important, so that's why we are also trying to get more and more that to get more as well. That but for to be able to appoint ground commanders across Myanmar in the all the as well, we have to be able to find skilled people, and that's what something we are also striking on as well. That those that also with a more experience, some experience on the ground, people are also getting better as well. But that we are also when it comes to that when it comes to the often the better experience is still limited. So it in a way it is for us it is also often also the how to say as well that how the progress they have been made as well, and that and that so that I think some of them are maybe good at guerrilla command, but when it comes to tens of the thousands of soldiers, that he cannot think about the strategy, because some of them are more fitted to the guerrilla warfare as well. So we are now in the revolution. We are in the recent period. We are not talking about prolonging the period of the revolution, but we also that learning that people are also learning from the experience, and that we are also trying to use the experience. This is something we are working on to organize as well. And I understand that for the PDF and the local defense forces, and there are also a lot of problems as well, and in terms of relationship, or that about the credit, about the mission. There are also a lot of challenges as well. Like there are also there are also the concerns that they are being treated as a like that a vertical relationship rather than the horizontal relationship. So we are also working on that we have also have that the president office has also given us a duty to establish a military code, that we also need to we are also now working on together, working with with the legal experts to be able to who have knowledge and experience on the military warfare. But we even before establishing the code, it is also important to set the rules and regulations as well. That it is those who know. I think it is also important that also some people know about it, and some people might think, oh, are we blocking this somehow? And that for that it is also important to have a regular engagement as well. But but sometimes that they will say that there are also sometimes there is a good relation with the emoji, but on the ground it's difficult. So we are seeing that we are pointing that experience comment of it as is good for them, but we also need to take some time to be able to deal with it as well. So as said that so I would like to say thank you for your for the service, as you're also part of the fighter, and I hope that you're okay with the answers that I've given as well. So we still also have one time. So we'd like to invite another person. So I would like to give the floor to the MDRA Kochai TDSG. Kochai, you can ask your question now. TDSG MRDA Kochai. Can you hear us? Okay, maybe he has some internet issue. So I'd like to invite next person, Sia Chimin Ken, if you can hear us, you have the floor. Yes, we can hear you. What I want to ask is that we have that urban UG groups that I think there are also difficulty to reach out to the urban UG. So among the UG, you have the genuine like no fighters who are committed to the movement and to the strong. We also have those who are just trying to get some benefit out of it. So that there are also organizations those who have difficulty in engaging with the NUG as well. So I'd like to know like what can NUG do to help us as well. CNI2R. Hope you'll be able to answer the question. Yeah. Yes, because of the time issue, I will try to keep it short. So yes, we are trying to engage more with the UG, but there are also difficulty as well because UGs are small groups and they are also not in a position also to discuss with us. So that we also have we also have challenges in reaching out to the UGs as well. So that they're also difficult, but we will do our best to be able to increase our momentum in reaching out the UG and from the UG side as well, and that UGs are also special the organization as well, so that and sometimes it can also be difficult also to engage with the UG as well. That we are also thinking about it to do also do some that different support that specifically targeted towards the UG. That's what we're working on. That I think all of the yes.
So
can you keep your question short because the time is almost up? Yes. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to share. I'm based in Thailand, and that so I'm also part of the logistic team for it as well. Then what I would like to ask is that now that like Salai Omi said before, they're putting the PDF and that the support for the PDF that NUG doesn't give much support to the PDF. That what we know, most of the organization we know on the ground, what they hear from them is that and some of them have requested assistance for the NUG, and they ask for some of the organization have asked for the support from the NUG for their operation on the ground. But however, the support they receive, they don't get support from the NUG, so it is difficult for their weapons and and then also for the funding, they also have a lot of challenges as well. So to give you the group is under the NUG, it is under the NUG. So but a few days ago they asked us support from the Jaw area. They asked us support as well. They have that about they have 71 and they have a unit, and that so I think it is a regiment 708, and that the commander has reached out to us to share with us as well. And that I would like to ask like for any reason that I would like to know like because of the funding and that equipment for these PDF forces, why are they not reaching them, and that and also that some of the local organization also has asked for the weapons from the NUG, and that NUG why there has been delay on the NUG to provide their weapons to these NUG affiliated forces on the ground. CNI2 also, these are the questions also for you. Can you keep your answer short? Thank you. That firstly, about the equipment, that weapons and equipment. Like I said before, funding is limited. So with that, so I think that we can only provide equipment to 10% of the existing PDF. That's the first challenge. That's about the funding, and then that also that that the first material we send, it can take months. It can literally take months to send them as well. Whenever there is a challenge or difficulty for the transport, there is a issue with the transport, it also causes unnecessary delays as well. So it's very hard for us to do that as well. Sometimes it can get easily done, and sometimes it takes months to why to do that as well. So with that, in addition to that, not only for the funding, so we are trying to also have to think about also to get back what will be the quickest way to get logistic as well. We have to think about the quick logistic line as well. This part of it's part of our strategy as well. But when we try to implement it, it takes time. It takes time. We know that it takes also time as well, because so when try to get that support, for example, something that is called 50 watt, and then we can, if we have to buy like 100 jets, we can do it for once and twice. If we do it, then the funding is not enough, because we have to use the funding because if we have to give a higher price, then that will mean less return. When you that sometimes the equipment that we buy do not meet the quality, is that we cannot let that. So it can be very difficult for us as well. That so we need to think. We have to think about it not just for the individual issue, but also holistically as well. And then we have to try that and do our best to get as well. And that's why, although we say that we have used the funding, but if the funding, it doesn't mean that we are getting what we order in our hand as well. That we have a lot of regiments as well. That we have about 200, and then we also have the Pakapa, the local defense forces as well. So there's the monthly support, the basic support we give it to this about it's in hundreds of it's in 100,000s or million or dollar to support we are given to the community, given to our forces as well. It doesn't mean that those who are on the working ground, that I mean, although we are spending a lot, but they are not getting it enough as well, enough funding as well. That's also the challenge we have is for the new forces. And then we have to check very carefully. We also have to check as well. We also have to, there are also then financially we also have to take into consideration, like I said, but we do what we can as well. For the session for the regiment 701, that I've also talked to them. I think this just this afternoon we have talked to them as well. We understand about the challenges, about the weapons they have not received. I think that's something that is also under with the ongoing discussion with the ground commanders as well. So for us, that we are trying to find a solution together. We are trying to provide just we can within the what we have, the capacities that we have. Thank you for because of the time, and I would like to say that because of the time is short, that we don't have enough time, so that please also bear with us. And I would like to say sorry that we'll not be able to invite more people to discuss or take more questions. So I would like to give that closing for the closing remarks. So as a closing, do you want to say anything as well? That from the 88 uprising to the 2021 military coup, and that people often say that 1988 uprising did not succeed because of the lack of the unity. In this, now that we are at the Spring Revolution, what should we learn from the past, and that what will be that NUG also what are the NUG plans to bring unity and then to move forward as well? Thank you. Thank you for your last question. And that so that 1988 was not that 1988 was not successful, but that this revolution has been carried forward by different generations until the generation Z, and that there are also yes, it is true also that without a sufficient level of the unity and solidarity, then we cannot be successful. It is important to understand each other. But the revolution can be very hard, and when people are exhausted, when people are that, losing their morale, then people tend to, the regional forces tend to blame each other. Either we blame an organization or individual. That also can happen as well. That it is also important for us to know that how do we deal with that? How do we build this? Despite their tiredness, that's why it is also important to have. We also have mechanism. How do we deal with this, or how we find a solution as well? Because revolution belongs to all of us. It's not just an individual person, and that it is the credit, all the credit for the revolution does not go to one person. It's the participation of all of us. It is wanted to value that. It's just like in a football match. We are in different place. We are in different place, and we are in different roles. It is important to be responsible, accountable in the roles that we play, because that's how important we are to to the revolution as a whole. There has been a lot of needs in it as well in the past as well. It is also important to recognize that, and that to be able to find a good way to move forward as well. There are a lot of problems of the military. The military hunter has started, but we cannot say that if there are no more military hunters, then all the issues will be resolved. No, we cannot. We cannot deal with that, because it is important to for us to understand each other. It is important to have the mutual understanding. So unity is mandatory. It's important. It is not the unity that's because we have a common goal, but common enemy. But it is important to have that we need to able to have a common goal for it. A common goal. The kind of ideas not just about having the common enemy. It is also important that we have a relation. We have a unity to be able to build a common goal as well. To build a common goal, it is important to have to understand each other, to support each other, and not to stop with the blame game, rather than with the blame game. And it is also important to find solutions together that will bring us closer to the success as well. That for us, this revolution is that we believe the revolution will be successful, and for the revolution to for this successful, it is also important to all of us. We all have the ability also to be able to agree to each other and cooperate each other. So that's why we also believe that this revolution will be successful as well. Thank you for the sharing. That it is also very encouraging for us, and that they also give us also energy for the for the way forward as well. And that also thank you for all the important points that you have made. Thank you very much indeed. So I would like to invite Samazu for the closing remarks. Do you want to say anything? So right now that so for the NUCC, NUG, and that that there are also a lot of engagement and working together. How do you see this? What will be your recommendations to make the movement to be more successful? Thank you. First of all, I would like to say that like others said before, the revolution has been going on for more than a year now. But although it has been a revolution has been going on for more than a year, but although military has announced that they have they have removed the civilian power, but it's still attempted coup on the ground, because they do not control the country. They do not have the supreme power. They may say that they have taken over the country, but not really. In Kranny State, in Sakai region, in Magwe region, the PDFs are controlling the territory. In Kranny State is KNDF and KCC are leading the Kranny State, so they are working on the. So military doesn't have absolute control of the nation, and that's something we need to acknowledge. It is important that all of the people continue to participate or support the revolution. Then they will bring us closer to the victory as well. So when it comes to engagement and collaboration, I think it is also important to look back on the past year of the revolution. Last year, that we have seen some progress, some progress, but there are also some challenges for the federal state and for the federal union to engage with as well. Like a granny state, like when the federal union was trying to organize local administration, which is beyond the federal democracy charter and the fury as well. But in the past year, all the stakeholders have been trying very hard to build this system as well. So with the time pass on, that will also bring us closer to a situation of stability. If we continue like this, then if we make by making sure that the engagements and the cooperation in line with the Federal Community Charter, that the engagement with different fractal units is important. I think that we are not just addressing that the political crisis brought on by the military coup last year. No, we are trying to address and resolve the problems and the conflict, discrimination, as well as on the oppression and the persecution that have taken place in Myanmar for the past 70 years. We are resisting not just against this attempted coup and the military junta, but the past 70 years of persecution. So this revolution that we are walking in is not just for 1 year. So we have to be patient, we have to be tolerant, and we have to be politically minded to be able to address the conflicts and the issues. NUCC that as NUCC and NUG are the entities that have the public support as well. That NUCC has the political leadership, the support for the NUG, and that in the ground on the ground that also that NUG is working hard also to get recognition for as well as on the recognition and the representation of the country. So in doing so, it is important to have political will, because only with the political will we'll be able to find solution when it comes to building the federal democracy union. And when we talk about the children's rights, when you got the women's rights, and that it should not make a deal okay, there will be I think it is important not to do this kind of deal that okay, we'll give you some more women's rights, we'll give you some more ethnic rights, but if you do this, no, it is important not just to think about making deals. It is also important to be genuine in the desire for seeking solution to address the crisis and the disability as well. So that the revolution needs to move forward, to follow the voice of the people and the desire of the people, and that's all I have to say in closing remarks. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to invite Captain Wright. As a CDM soldier, and as a soldier, how do you see there's unity among different revolutionary forces? I said, do they have a sufficient level of trust to work together, collaborate together? What will be your recommendation on building unity? Hope you can hear me now. Yes, yes, we can hear you. I am a soldier, so that I think it is also when we look at the that is as well that and that I think there is also unity, there are also efforts, but there are still limitation as well, that do ensure the flow of the and that as well as the unity. I think it is important to continue building as well, so that that this revolution that you have a strong chain of command, that for the, I think we have the strong chain of command, and through this you can build unity, because this is also very much related to it. Like, it is important to that is very much related to this one, because when we have a strong this kind of that is that it is when you have a systematic structure military, and that organization that also help us, that also be another level to build, because this become a strength, a new strength for the unity, because the structure of the organization of the chain of command is important, that will contribute also to the unity, because when you have a clear systematic structure, so among the revolutionary fighters, so what they do clearly, and they listen to their voice, integrate them into so that who will be the commander, who will be the officers to command them, how are they appointed by are we going to set the criteria by the military experience, or by strategy, or by the physical ability, or that how do we ensure that how do we build the officers who will be able to selfless to practice, who will be the followers, how do we train the followers, the full soldiers, or just these are all important points that need to be implemented, and that's something organizing military is very hard, and there will be a lot of efforts will need to be taken. But I think it is, if I believe that you'll be able to do it quickly enough. Another important point is about unity. that there are dangers that the SAC can do. They always create a dissension. They would always do the divide and rule, divide and conquer as well. They would cause dissension. They will create stories, and then they will also. Another weakness is the leadership. That when the leadership is not strong, that will push people farther apart. That will also undermine the unity. The military hunter always have that divided rule as well. They will always use that. That's what they always that is they what they would like to do, cause dissension, create dissension. They will use a communal conflicts as a way to cause dissension among the people. We are seeing that they are doing that, how they are doing it on the ground. The more people they are losing, the more they are unstable. They were using these weapons to divide people further. Another important point is that the leadership of this revolution is built through very hard times as well, difficult time as well, and that in this that we are seeing the leadership we are seeing had never existed in Myanmar before, never in our history. Even if we have exemplary significant leadership, but the political space we are in, the political atmosphere is different. So our leaders, some of them have a common goal, that that even if they may be contradictory, we are seeing extraordinary leadership right now. But the challenges we are facing a horrible system that the system has pushed it. There's still, because of the system, there will still be a diversity in terms of opinion, perspective, and it is okay to have that, because now it's a revolution with the support of the technology, with the mindset, with the support of the people. We are building a system. We are building a leadership, and this that during this period of leadership, it is that even if we look at it from time perspective, we are only very quite young. It's not mature yet. So because of the enemy, or because of the dissension, and because of the controversy about ourselves, we have to make efforts to make sure we cannot let them divide us. We cannot let them create dissension among us. So for the for the regional forces, or for the NUG, or for the NUCC, it is important for all of us to avoid which can undermine each other, which can play on our limitations, and through the patience, through dialogue, through tolerance, through understanding and respect, it is important to build unity among the revolutionary forces, so that we can have a so that we I believe that we can also create a strong the strong and structure resistant forces. I believe in you. Thank you. Thank you. So today's discussion on the building unity and the success of the revolution, I would like to thank all the speakers. I would also like to thank our participants and that audience. Thank you very much for joining us and today's session. And that the Federal Democracy Union that all of us want is our goal, and on our way it is also important to avoid the blame game, and through the listening, through the recognition, through respect, and through the collaboration and cooperation, it is important to build our unity so that we can march together in the way forward to achieve the goal as well. We'd like to end our talk show here.